Ho, ho, ho. It's down with the test tubes and off with the lab coats for the staff of Brainiac Corp. A time of fun, feasting and frolics in the snow. So, pull up a chair, get a glass of warm sherry and settle back to enjoy some festive seasonal science as we bring you the Brainiac Christmas Cracker. Yes, it's Christmas!
This is the Brainiac Christmas Cracker, the show that's got more stuffing than your mum's turkey. Coming up.
Slip sliding away, CO2 power hits the ice. What to do if Santa gets stuck up your chimney? Brainiacs get stuck into Christmas dinner and unwrapping their toys. And what not to do with your Christmas presents. But first, can you do your job whilst being electrocuted? Stephen Murray is a department store Father Christmas. He's been entertaining the customers of Wilkinson's department store for the last 3 years. But how well will he do when we strap him to some low-amp 9-volt electrical equipment? Let's see, shall we?
Ho, 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 everyone.
Ho-hoing is a vital part of the job for a department store Santa.
Ho, 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 ho.
But it's quickly obvious this function is significantly impaired by electricity.
Anybody else?
He's really not quite so jolly when the voltage flies. It's important that Santa keeps his beardy disguise at all times at Christmas to preserve the mystery of the occasion. But it's obviously something Stephen has forgotten in the excitement of the moment. He looks less like the jolly patron of the season now. More like the bit part panto actor he really is. It's not going well. A photo with Santa is a key part of any child's Christmas. But the end result made somewhat unsatisfactory when limbs go into spasm and the presents go flying.
Right, that's it.
He's had enough. Bag on shoulder, he's off to spoil the magic of Christmas for any other toddlers he can find. But not without a few voltage-inducing reminders before he's gone. Thanks, Stephen, and a Merry Christmas to you too. Stop. The following experiment is dangerous.
Do not try this at home. No, really, don't.
Alcohol in the form of brandy is a flammable liquid. Enclosed in a sealed container and with a piece of silver foil and a spoon to provide a spark, ignition causes the sealed pudding to explode. We do these experiments so you don't have to. Do not try this at home.
Well, it's that time of year again when Santa pays a visit to every house in the land. Now, traditional method of entry for the old chap, of course, down the chimney. Quite straightforward, really. He clambers over the opening at the top and just lets gravity do the rest. Down he comes. But the return journey, back up the chimney, that's a different matter. Clambering up that space, especially if he's eaten a few of those mince pies he left out for him, not so easy. There's always a chance he might get wedged. So, what can you do if Santa gets stuck up your chimney? Well, let's find out, shall we? So, here is our Santa, traditional robes, beard, hat, with bobble and, of course, very large belly. And here is his chimney. Obviously, it's not a real one, it's pretend. So, let's get Santa stuck in the chimney. Well, come on then, one of you, give us a hand. If you get the legs, let's get him in. Drop your antlers. Gently, Santa Claus. Very nice, he is firmly stuck.
Our first method of propulsion will be air power. Blow up a big balloon and let it burst. It's how ejector seats work in fighter planes, more or less. The rush of air will fill the chimney void and push Santa out at a fair old rate. We hope.
This is pathetic. Let's get a fresh Brainiac on. Come on, volunteer. You. Just, you know, it's the festive... Go! Okay, that's novel. It is getting very close now. In fact, I think that could go at any minute. So it's time to take safety precautions. Everybody get behind the tinsel. And you take your pump. Sort of round here. This looks much, much safer. There you go. Any moment now, Brainiacs. Beware bits of falling Santa, obviously.
Good start then. 60 feet, the height to beat. Air pressure, a very good method to use to dislodge the old fella, even if he does come off a little the worse for wear.
Okay, so we've wedged a second Santa into our chimney and we're ready to try gas power. It's going to work like this. This pipe leads to this gas canister here. I'm going to turn on the gas, which will then waft up the chimney into the void underneath Santa's chuff. When there's enough of a build-up, I shall ignite it using this fuse. Hopefully Santa will then head for the skies. So, gas on.
We're using propane for this, usually a cooking gas, but we're hoping it won't do too much roasting of Santa from behind. Hoping, but not expecting. When it ignites, the hot gas will expand and out he should pop.
Here we go then, using gas power to get Santa out of your chimney. Everybody ready? Stand back. You can have that. There's Santa's head. Problem with gas there, I think, is next door's kids ultimately are going to be disappointed because he's not going to be making it down their chimney at all. Take him away.
And his maximum recorded height, a creditable 48 feet. Not quite as effective as air pressure, but it did have a pleasingly fiery feel. The effect on Santa's chubby little body, though, much the same. Pretty turbid.
So, we've done air, we've done gas. There really is only one more thing to try if Santa gets stuck up your chimney. Yep, a bomb. So, this goes in here, under the chimney. Here's the fuse wire. We now retreat quite a long way. Go on.
Our explosive today is good old dynamite. I suspect the perfect ingredient to shift our seasonal visitor.
3, 2, 1. Good luck, Santa.
And it doesn't let us down.
That did it.
Up, up, and away he goes, and down with a mighty crunch. Propelled by dynamite, he rose to a magnificent height of 86 feet. A fine and indeed unrivaled achievement in the Santa dislodge.
Here's one for you. Where does the white go when the snow melts?
Knife, fork, spoon. Which is Britain's best bit of cutlery?
Brainiac.
Down at the lab, it's dinner time. Christmas dinner, of course. Prawn cocktail, turkey with the trimmings, and a bowl of Christmas pud. A veritable feast for 3 Brainiacs. But only one piece of cutlery each to tackle it. Brainiac 1 gets a knife. Number 2 is a forker, while the third will shovel with a spoon. Who will clean their plates the fastest?
Ready, steady, eat lunch.
Brainiacs don't, as a rule, usually bother with cutlery, scooping up food with their bare hands and licking their fingers being more their natural style. But today, the challenge is on. The knife is the oldest item of cutlery, first used some 4,000 years ago. Its ability to slice is, of course, unrivaled, though it will struggle with the more liquid challenges ahead. These two are matching each other, spike for prong for scoop, but it's clear that the knife is already starting to struggle. It's going to be a long lunch for Knife Boy. And while the spearing and pronging style of the fork naturally lends itself to a speed eat challenge, liquids will also be an issue. Spoons laugh in the face of Mary Rose sauce and turkey gravy, but getting meat off the bone will be more of a threat. Everyone eats far too much at this time of year, but not usually at this kind of pace. This food may make the return journey fairly soon. And there goes Spoon Boy. He's done with his main, just the pud to go. And he's closely followed by the forker, Knife Lad clearly out of it. He's just remembered he's a vegetarian. Slide and scoop, prick and prong. It's a 2-horse race now as they gobble and chomp their way to the end. Certainly no one will want cold turkey sandwiches this Boxing Day. The pud, though, is proving a tough finishing course, but by the smallest of margins, Spooner wins! Yeah! There it is, Spoon Boy takes it, it's clear. If you only get given one item of cutlery to eat your dinner this Christmas, forget the knife, eschew the fork, go for the spoon. Yeah! Will it fizz or will it bang? The regular chemistry conundrum as posed by Dr. John P. Kilcoyne, Principal Lecturer of the University of Sunderland. So, what chemicals has Dr. Kilcoyne got in his igloo today?
Mince pie with aluminium and iodine powder. Cream. Will it fizz or will it bang?
The answer coming up after the break. And still to come, John Tickle gets in some seasonal slobbering.
Just a little kiss.
And the 5 top tips for snowball fights.
You're watching the Brainiac Christmas Cracker, the show that knows where the presents are hidden. Coming up.
A gas oven, explosives, and a naked flame. You do the maths. And Brainiacs feel the cold this Christmas. But first, Dr. John P. Kilcoyne of the University of Sunderland posed the question: mince pie with aluminium and iodine powder and cream. Will it fizz or will it bang? The answer? It fizzes. When liquid is added to the 2 chemicals, a reaction kicks off. The aluminium producing a yellow fume and the iodine generating brown and purple smoke.
What a great fizz!
Nice one, Doc.
We've sped across the land. We've ruled the waves. We've conquered the air. Well, almost. And now CO2 power hits the ice. Yes, at that time of year when Jack Frost sends his icy message across the land, it's time to find out just what can be achieved CO2-wise on the slidey stuff. And who better to stand on the ice attached to a high-powered jet than John Tickle. John, you're looking Fantastic,
Thank you very much,
mate.
Richard.
This is what exactly?
I think we're calling this Death on Skates today.
Yes.
It's a very simple piece of kit. We've got a CO2 canister.
Familiar to us.
Yeah, and here we have an exhaust nozzle on either boot.
Right. Now, I can't help but notice each of your feet is, in effect, independently propelled.
And independently steered. This
Right.
could be quite difficult.
It does sound immensely complicated. What I suspect we have here, effectively, is a spectacular accident. It's just a question now of the severity of it.
That's my fear.
Would you explain to me a bit about the science of sliding out there on the ice?
Well, actually, on skates, I'm not going to be sliding on the ice at all. If you think about it, all of my weight is being transferred onto the ice through two thin bits of metal. That really high pressure means that the ice will melt, and I'll actually be running over a thin film of water.
Now, does that apply to everything out there? What if you were to slide on something else? For instance, your face?
No, that's okay. It's only when there's a lot of weight, a lot of pressure on a small area.
Right, so this is specialised stuff?
Yes.
OK, well, good luck. Here's how it's going to work. On the hooter, John will set off from this start line here, speeding majestically across the ice towards the rather optimistically placed finish line at the other end of the rink. Then, once he's done that, assuming he's still functioning, we'll try something else. Simple as that. OK, you ready?
Yep.
Here we go.
Safety gear, of course, vital for a job like this. And I'm sure these very small pads will afford masses of protection when he hits the barriers at 90 miles an hour.
Ooh! OK, John, you ready for this?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, well, as you ever will be. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go!
And off he goes. Slowly and somewhat gingerly at first, but he soon builds up the pace. And by halfway, he's probably travelling at least 5 miles an hour. Steadily does it though, and he breaches the tinsel in a very creditable 25.96 seconds.
John, that was astonishing.
Fantastic.
Well, I hate to say it, but you were using what appeared to be balance, which,
Yes.
as we know, is something you don't have.
I know, it's a miracle.
So how did you do it?
I don't know. I just kept low, kept the
Yeah.
centre of gravity as low as possible, so that if I did fall over, it wouldn't be as painful, but that seemed to work.
That's genius. Well, sorry, we'll try something else now.
Fantastic.
There will be pain.
I'm up for it now.
Get changed, come on.
Coming up next, John has a go on more totally unsuitable skating vehicles.
You know, I get quite a lot of cards at this time of year, and some of you take the trouble to pop in an interesting question that you'd like me to answer. Well, as you know, a good scientist never rests, even at Christmas, so here goes. This is one of my favourites. It comes from Louise Glacier from Berkhamsted. Louise writes, "Dear John, my boyfriend is a very hairy chap. He also sweats a lot." Oh, he sounds delightful, Louise. She goes on, "This has made me wonder whether hairy people get hotter than non-hairy people. Can you find out for me?" Well, that's an appropriate question for this very cold season, Louise. I certainly can. This Brainiac has a body temperature of 37.6 degrees Celsius. That's quite normal. But I'm going to get him all hot and bothered by putting him through a rigorous yet controlled exercise regime. First, he'll do it in his current hairy form, but later he'll be without hair, so we can get a comparison. Right, it's press-ups to start. Down you go.
Rocking around the Christmas tree.
Body hair is a feature of all mammals. In prehistoric man, that hair would keep him warm on cold winter nights. Come on, our kid, more! Put your back into it. Over time, humans have shed most of this hair, but some still remains. Right, stand up. We'll go straight into 40 star jumps. Come on, what's the matter with you? Let's go. 1, 2, 3. This Brainiac has only a light covering of very fine hair. The question is, does what's left still keep him warm? 39, 40. OK, stop there. Right, now I want you to run round the block twice and pretty quickly. Good pace, off you go.
The Christmas tree have a happy holiday.
Apart from taking his temperature orally, I have of course been taking it in all other ways as well, including readings for skin temperature. That way we can be absolutely sure we're doing things properly. And as you know, we do like to be sure. OK, exercise is finished. It's fairly cold outside, but he's been on a pretty hard run, so I imagine he's quite hot. And indeed he is. In his hairy form, this Brainiac's temperature has risen to a massive 38.1 degrees Celsius. The next thing we need to do is cool him down again. So we're going to be using some instant cooling techniques. Off you go.
I really can't stay.
But baby, it's cold outside.
Okay, so in his hairy form, after 40 press-ups, 40 star jumps and a 2-mile run, our Brainiac's temperature rose to 38.1 degrees Celsius. Of course, his body temperature would get back to normal if we left him long enough. We're just using the frozen peas merely to speed up the process. And for the fun of it. Bring him in, bring him in. Let's see now. Oh, good, yes. His body temperature's down to a normal 37.6 degrees Celsius. That means we're ready to move on with stage 2. Let's get shearing. A thick coating of hair keeps the body warm by means of trapping a layer of air around the skin, which prevents the heat escaping. Now we live in centrally heated homes, this function of body hair has largely become redundant. Arm up. International weekend. Tilt for me. One of the other functions of hair is of course to trap sweat. The body becomes particularly smelly in its hairiest parts. Now this is vitally important for the purposes of attracting a mate. However, it does make this particular job rather unpleasant. Okay, job done. We now have one perfectly smooth Brainiac. You will notice that we've allowed him to keep his eyebrows and eyelashes. That's because he's visiting his mum for Christmas, and the last thing we want to do is give her a nasty shock at her time of life. Apart from that though, he's completely hairless. So, it's exercise time again.
A fresh snowfall. Nothing warms the Brainiac heart more at this time of year. So, when the white stuff falls, what are the 5 top tips for winning a snowball fight? Number 1. Build a stash. Be prepared. See the snow. Don't just call your mate out to join in the fun. Get out early and build yourself a hidden stash. A barrage of pre-formed balls in the heat of battle will come as a nice surprise. Number 2. Pack it tight. Snowball-wise, it's easy to rush the delivery, but don't. Delivering at speed is all very well, but there's no substitute for a tightly packed missile. Save your fire till you've made a good one. Those are the ones that count. One well-packed ball does more damage than 10 malformed bad ones. Number 3. Get the right gear. The correct clothes are vital. Try a well-padded coat to fend off the hardest balls. A big hood doubles as an effective mask, and roomy pockets are good for some spares. Dress smartly and you can really rack up the points. And if your mate's forgotten his, you can always lend him one of yours. A summer one, of course. That thin coverage won't be much protection for a 90-mile-an-hour block of ice. Number 4. Throw clever. Hurling technique is vital. Aim well means aim high. 1 up high is worth 10 on the thigh, but remember to vary your direction. And don't forget the odd dummy. A fake throw followed by a real one can pay big dividends. Number 5. Store for the summer. Really want to catch your mate out? Don't hit him at Christmas, save up for the summer. Pick up some handfuls, load up with balls, and get down to the freezer. Those missiles will be more of a shock when your mate's topping up his tan in June. So there you go. Be well prepared, think it through, and remember the 5 top tips for winning a snowball fight. Earlier in the show, we saw John Tickle glide gracefully across the ice on fire extinguisher-powered skates. So what next?
Right then, the recumbent trike. It's a rather fancy piece of kit, this. What do you reckon?
I'm quite looking forward to this. It's quite stable. All
Yeah.
I've got to worry about is not pedalling.
Don't.
No, okay.
That would be cheating. I've given it a bit of thought for technique. What I suggest you do is use 2 hands to steer, one on each of those.
Yeah, yeah.
And then if you use your other 2 hands to hold this and do the power.
Yeah.
Good luck, mate.
Thanks, Richard. Oh, okay. I haven't quite thought it through yet. There you go.
Good luck, John. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go!
So, can 3 wheels beat 2 blades? Well, it's a very slow start, more tickle power than CO2. However, it soon picks up. 25.96 seconds, the mark set by the skates, and it's looking good for the trike. And it is good. Desperately looking for the brakes, he glides in at 20.24 seconds.
That was not bad.
It was good, wasn't
It
it?
actually looked quite graceful and sedate.
Oh, yeah, very nice, easy, smooth takeoff.
And no need to steer in the end.
Not much, no, minor adjustments only.
Minor adjustments.
Yeah.
Well, like you're docking a spaceship.
That sort of thing, yeah.
Whatever. Right, something else.
Great. More!
The next vehicle, a single-engine canoe. Not one of CO2 Power's finest moments, at least in terms of speed. Scary and quite spectacular, but the round-around thing not quite what we're after. No official time posted for the canoe then, very much a did not finish. Next up, the street luge.
You can't see where you're going, can you?
No.
These things have been clocked at 98 miles an hour.
And I don't really know how to steer.
Bye.
Thanks. Yeah, that's a smooth ride.
3, 2, 1.
98 miles an hour would mean he'd finish this course in a shade under 1 second. Already a little slower than that, but like the trike, when it does get going, it really shifts. Not easy to see where you're going, but a fine time posted of 15.44 seconds, and no way to brake.
I want to do that one again.
Now, that one, I got the impression it didn't want to start, but once it got going, it was building momentum, wasn't it?
Oh, I was still accelerating towards the end, yeah.
If this rink had been twice as long, you'd have been doing like 100 miles an hour by
Oh,
then.
that would have been great. And I found the steering quite easy as well.
Yeah, I don't believe it. I think that was luck, but there we go.
The finale to come, a showdown. His sledge versus my wheelchair in a race for the tinsel line.
Aftershave. A traditional Christmas gift for dads and boyfriends. You wear it to, well, be more attractive to the ladies. The question is, does it really work? Well, I have my mistletoe, so let's go and find out. Right, first off, I'm going to see how many under the mistletoe kisses I can get without wearing any of the smelly stuff. It's tickle au naturel, so I've got 60 minutes to get as many kisses as I can from all the young ladies hereabouts. Of course, I'll be keeping score, just like I do on Friday night. So, 60 minutes to go. Well, my counter tells the story. And this time, I'll have plenty of this smelly stuff. Away we go. And this time I've gone to a different part of the road so I can avoid approaching the same women again. Don't want to get arrested as some kind of sex pest. Not again. Go on then. Thank you very much. Oh, she smelled nice.
Coming up, how big a bang can you make with 500 crackers? And Santa gets airborne by an explosive-laden caravan.
You're watching the Brainiac Christmas Cracker, the show that doesn't write thank you letters. Coming up.
Wheelchair versus sledge, the big CO2 face-off. And hitting the high notes, carol singing on helium.
Crackers. I love them. Apart from when Mum boils the Christmas pud dry in the pressure cooker, they really are the best bang of the season.
But they could have a bit more oomph, couldn't they? Which is why we've raided the supermarket shelves for this lot. Not for the silly toy, not for the paper hat, no. This is the bin we want, and lots of them.
Time for a proper cracker, a big one. Now, the explosive in a cracker is silver fulminate, and when you pull the ends of the two strips apart, it rubs together, and it's that friction that causes the ignition. And because it happens in a confined space, you get a little pop, which means 500 of them, all bundled up together, should cause a pretty decent pop.
We want them all to go off together, so the bundle needs to be quite tight. And of course, we mustn't forget the hat and the crowd toy. And a final bit of decorative coverage. Attach a bit of cord to each end, and let's get pulling. Now, this may be a bit too explosive for two humans to do, even brainiacs. So for this cracker pull, the van will play the part of your half-drunk auntie, and a Capri will be your sister's flash boyfriend.
Okay, I think we're nearly ready to do this, but just before we do, how do you make sure you always win at crackers? Let me show you. First of all, your cheap and cheerful Boggo ordinary cracker. Now, if you look carefully at this, and I mean very carefully, you will see it's got perforations. I didn't put those in it. It comes with them on. The trick is make sure those perforations are not at your end. Give them to the other fella. Pull. See, I won. Right, let's assume you're at maybe a posh dinner party. They've got expensive crackers like this, maybe with a diamond or a watch in it or something. How do you win here? Because there are no perforations. Well, it's all to do with the way you hold it. Think golf, the Varden grip. Cross my thumb over my finger like so, pull, and I win. Right, enough life advice, I think. Are we ready? We are. Okay, everybody step away. This might get loud.
So the explosive inside of 500 crackers all wrapped up together. That should make a pretty good pop.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1, pull!
And it does!
Yeah. Now that is what I call a cracker.
Oh yeah, and of course, do not try this at home. At Christmas time, there really is nothing quite like carol singing. Seven tenors, 3 basses and a couple of altos. Harmonious, melodic and thoroughly in keeping with the season. Lovely. But I wonder what they would sound like on helium. Yep, not quite as good. Carol singing on helium, brought to you courtesy of Brainiac.
Here's one for you. Just a word of advice. Don't eat yellow snow.
Some presents just aren't worth the bother of opening, no matter how hard you try. There's just no way in. So, which is Britain's most pain-in-the-arse packaging?
Down at the lab, 6 Brainiacs poised and ready for a seasonal unwrapping challenge. Before them, some of the toughest packaging known to man, each one facing an equivalent amount of stuff to undo. From factory-made to granny-wrapped. Which will be the last to be defeated?
Prepare to unwrap. Ready, steady.
Christmas is a special time of year for lovers of wrapping and unwrapping. But some packaging seems designed to foil even the most ardent opener. And when the scissors go missing, as they always do come Christmas Day, gaining entry becomes a real issue. Stuff you buy off the internet. Large, stapled, heavily sealed book packages, which even the most destructive postman couldn't wreck. Nightmare. Kids' toys held down with unbudgeable plastic-coated wired coil. Twisting to release is way too much like hard work, but try to pull the toy free and you're in yanking cardboard hell. Ketchup. It's the perfect turkey sauce if you run out of cranberry, but these sachets were seemingly designed to prevent entry. The tear strip never works, so when you do finally gain entry, expect your soft furnishings to receive a light coating of tangy tomato. The CD. The jewel case not believed enough protection. It's then coated with unpierceable cellophane wrap. Claw, tear or bite. It's what the front right incisor was designed for. And when you do get in, you know the jewel case is going to bear the scars of battle for the rest of its life. Granny's present. Over-taped and tightly sealed. She spent her early Christmases during the war. She suffered, so she reckons you should too. Not only that, but she'll tell you off for tearing the paper. Yeah, she wants to save it for next year. And factory-packed electricals, shrink-wrapped, blister-packed, and with no visible means of entry. Battle, bite, rip, tear, scrunch. And when you do get in, yeah, you've destroyed the contents. Ketchup Boy's done with the sauce. He's now onto the UHT milk cartons. The stuff they give you if you have your lonely Christmas lunch in a hotel. Scraping, scrabbling, scratching and gouging to a finish. Yeah, and Granny's Prezi turns out to be a jigsaw again. Come on, lady. lady. No kid wants them.
Finished!
Toy Wire Boy is the first to finish, closely followed by Granny Lad. Internet bought packages and Sachet Boy also does. And that leaves CD unwrapping Brainiac head-to-head with Blister Packer. And it's CD fella who makes it first.
That's it. The most pain-in-the-arse packaging is blister-packed electrical items.
We'll leave him to it. He'll get it open by next Christmas. Maybe. So far, John Tickle has glided across the ice on a pair of skates. Shot gracefully forward on a recumbent trike. And whizzed manfully ahead in a street luge, all with the help of fire extinguisher power alone. The canoe, however, proved its suitability to water is mostly in its non-frozen form.
Now, we couldn't possibly investigate CO2 power without returning to our old favourite, the wheelchair. We have modified it to adapt it to these particular circumstances, so we've fitted it with skis. Tickle, by contrast, is putting his faith in a rather more basic mode of transport. It's like a twin-engine plastic sledge.
Yeah, but look at the power to weight ratio. Your thing weighs half a ton.
Right, we're going to have a race. You're going to lose.
I don't think so.
It's come to this then. In the search for the ultimate CO2 champion. The wheelchair, a proven extinguisher-powered winner versus a sledge, a vehicle custom built for sliding. To the winner, the spoils then. 1 round, no falls, no submissions. It's do or die. And we're off. Tickle gets a flyer and pulls just ahead in the first 10 metres before losing direction. And then the gas kicks in hard behind the chair and I streak ahead and cut inside to breach the finished tinsel at a rate of knots. I win! It's mine! And let's see my moment of glory again. Yes, a magnificent barrier-crunching triumph.
Damn it! Once again! When it comes to CO2, there is only one way to go. The magnificent wheelchair, even on ice.
I thought I had you at one point.
You'll never beat it. Now, let's go get an ambulance.
The wheelchair then. Still the CO2-powered champion of the world.
Sherry, Richard.
Just a half, please, mate. Up the ladder. Very nice. Thanks for the scarf, by the way.
Oh, no problem at all. And you, for the caravan.
Well, saw it in a junk shop. I just sort of thought of you, really. There you go.
Who's that at this time of night?
I'll get rid of them.
On the 12th day of Christmas, my true love came to me. 12 big bangs, 11 electric shocks, 10 blinded cock-ups, 9 painful moments, 8 daggers banging, 7 brilliant babes, 6 silly things,
5 microwave.
4 Yankee drive, 3 5-star shenanigans, and about an TNT. Merry Christmas!
8 families, 8 very different Christmases.
How on earth are you meant to wrap knickers and bras?
Thursday at 9, The Great British Christmas. While next here on Sky One, Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt star.
Where's my truck? There it is.
In Twister.